I knew my family was toxic. I just didn't expect them to try and auction my future at my sister's engagement party. The moment my father stood up, raised his wine glass, and announced to 50 guests that I would be proudly covering my younger sister's $65,000 dream wedding, I realized this wasn't a celebration. It was an ambush. My name is Claire Benson. I'm 29, live in North Carolina, and work as a financial analyst for a healthcare company. I've always been the responsible one, the quiet daughter, the practical one, the one who pays bills on time, remembers birthdays, and somehow gets called selfish for having boundaries. My younger sister, Emily, is the opposite. She's charming, loud, effortlessly loved, and somehow always in the center of every room. Growing up, my parents called her our little sunshine. They called me too serious. Funny how one child gets warmth and the other gets expectations. Emily got engaged to her boyfriend Jason after only 8 months. Suddenly, my mother transformed into a full-time wedding general. Pinterest boards, venue tours, flower samples, guest list drama. Every family dinner became a planning meeting. Every conversation somehow ended with, "Claire, you should help your sister more." At first, I thought they meant emotionally. I was wrong. Very, very wrong.
Emily's engagement party was held at my parents' house. White roses everywhere, string lights in the backyard, a rented violinist because apparently normal happiness now required live background music. 50 people showed up, family, church friends, neighbors, and people my mother barely liked but needed to impress. I was helping carry trays from the kitchen when my father tapped his glass. That sound, that stupid little clink clink. Everyone turned. He smiled like a man about to announce something noble. "We're so proud of Emily and Jason, and we're especially grateful that Claire has generously agreed to help make this wedding unforgettable." I froze. Then he said it. "She'll be covering the venue and honeymoon as her gift to the happy couple." People clapped, actually clapped. My aunt shouted, "That's what family does." Someone else said, "Claire, you're such a good sister." I stood there holding a tray of deviled eggs like my soul had left my body because I had never agreed to any of this, not once. I looked at my mother. She gave me that smile, the dangerous one, the one that said, "Don't embarrass us." Emily walked over, hugged me in front of everyone, and whispered in my ear, "Please don't ruin this for me. Just smile." That was the exact moment I realized this wasn't a misunderstanding. This was planned.
The moment the guests left, the real performance began. My mother closed the front door, turned around, and crossed her arms like a judge about to deliver a sentence. "Well," she said, "you handled that better than expected." I stared at her. I never agreed to pay for Emily's wedding. She rolled her eyes so hard I thought they might stay there. "Don't start that selfish nonsense." Selfish. That word had followed me my entire life, not because I was selfish, because I refused to be useful on command. My father sat down like this was a business negotiation. "You make good money, Claire. You're single, no kids. What exactly are you saving for?" I laughed. Actually laughed. My future? Emily, sitting on the couch like a princess waiting for tribute, sighed dramatically. "Why do you always make everything about you?" I turned to her. "Because somehow everything expensive in your life becomes about me." That shut her up for exactly 3 seconds. Then she started crying. Real tears? Fake tears? Honestly, with Emily, it was impossible to tell. "I just want one beautiful day," she whispered. "You've always hated when I get attention." There it was. Not logic, not fairness, emotional blackmail, the family favorite weapon. 3 days later, I got a fraud alert from my bank. At first, I assumed it was random. Maybe someone online stole my card info. It happens. But when I opened the app and saw the charge attempt, $12,400, Blue Water Grand Events, wedding venue deposit. I stopped breathing for a second because I had never booked a venue, and I knew exactly who had. I called Emily immediately. She answered on the second ring like she'd been expecting it. "Oh, good. You saw it?"
I actually had to sit down. "You used my credit card?" She sounded offended. "Used is such an aggressive word." I closed my eyes. "Emily," she sighed dramatically. "Mom said you'd react like this. Claire, relax. It was just the deposit. Once Dad talks to you, you'll calm down." That sentence, that casual entitlement, like my bank account was just a temporary inconvenience between her and her dream wedding. I called my mother next. She didn't deny it, not even a little. Well, someone had to secure the date. I was speechless. "You committed fraud." "No," she snapped. "We committed faith in family." I still remember standing in my kitchen, phone in my hand, wondering if I had accidentally been raised by cartoon villains. That night, I couldn't sleep, not because of the money, because of the realization. This wasn't impulsive. This wasn't Emily being spoiled. This was organized, planned. And if they were willing to use my credit card without permission, I had to ask the question I'd been avoiding for years. What else had they done? The next morning, I went digging. Old emails, old bank statements, archived messages. At first, I was just angry. Then I found something that made my stomach drop. 2 years earlier, there had been another fraud alert. At the time, I let it go because my mother convinced me it was probably a bank error. But now I looked closer. Someone had tried to add Emily as an authorized user on one of my premium credit cards, using my home address, using family contact information, and the emergency verification call, it had gone to my mother's phone, not mine. I just stared at the screen because suddenly, every weird financial misunderstanding made sense. This wasn't new. This was a system. Then came the real bomb. I checked our family group chat archive and found a screenshot my cousin accidentally sent months ago and quickly deleted. But I had saved it because I save everything. It was a message from my mother to Emily. "Don't worry, Claire always folds under pressure. Public embarrassment works faster." I read that message 5 times, slowly, carefully, like maybe if I stared long enough, it would become less disgusting. It didn't. That was the moment I stopped trying to fix the family and started planning how to expose it.
Once I stopped trying to be the good daughter, everything became easier, cleaner. I wasn't dealing with family anymore. I was dealing with a fraud pattern. And luckily for them, or unfortunately, I work in financial compliance. Suspicious behavior is basically my love language. So I did what I do best. I documented everything. Every text, every suspicious payment attempt, every voicemail, guilt trip, every family favor that somehow involved my wallet. I created folders, timelines, screenshots, backups of backups. If my family wanted a performance, I was preparing an audit. Then I called someone they never expected, Jason's mother. Yes, Emily's future mother-in-law. Because if someone is building a fantasy wedding using your stolen financial identity, the groom's family deserves a little light reading. I kept it calm, professional, no drama, just facts. "Hi, Mrs. Carter. I believe there may be some financial misunderstandings involving my name and Emily's wedding payments. I thought you should know before more money gets involved." Silence. Then, "I'm sorry, what?" Exactly. We met the next afternoon. I brought documents. She brought the expression of a woman realizing she may have raised her son into a legal disaster. Apparently, my mother had told Jason's family that I had enthusiastically offered to fund the venue and honeymoon because I believed in supporting love. I almost choked hearing that. I believe in supporting therapy, not destination weddings.
The wedding didn't explode. It imploded, quietly, financially, and completely. It started with one email. Jason's mother sent a simple message to their entire family group. "Due to serious concerns regarding financial misrepresentation involving Claire Benson, all wedding-related payments are suspended pending legal clarification." That was it. No drama, no insults, just consequences. Within an hour, Jason called off the engagement temporarily. By evening, the venue canceled the reservation. By night, the honeymoon booking disappeared. And by midnight, Emily's dream wedding had turned into a refund request spreadsheet. My phone lit up like a warning system. "Mom, you humiliated this family. Dad, Fix this immediately or don't bother coming home again. Emily sent 14 voice messages. The first one crying, the second one angry, the third one breaking down. The rest, just noise. But one line stuck. You are supposed to love me more than this. That's when I realized something important. She didn't feel guilty. She felt entitled to my sacrifice. The twist came the next morning. Jason showed up at my apartment. Not angry, not loud, just done. He said, I checked everything. Your mother told us you insisted on paying because you wanted to prove loyalty to family. She said you were excited about it. He paused, then added, I don't know who I was going to marry, but it wasn't you. And just like that, he left. No shouting, no fight, just truth walking away.
After Jason left, everything went strangely quiet. Not peaceful, just empty. Like a house after a storm where you finally notice what broke. My parents didn't call for 2 days. That alone felt unnatural. Then my mother finally texted, we need to talk. Your father is not well. No apology, no acknowledgement, just consequences framed as emergencies. I didn't go home immediately. Instead, I waited because something in me knew this wasn't over yet. And I was right. The final twist came from Emily. She showed up at my apartment alone. No makeup, no attitude, no performance. Just Emily. For the first time in years, she sat on the stairs and said quietly, I didn't think they were lying. I thought that's just how things work. That hit harder than anything else. Because it wasn't evil, it was conditioning. She looked at me and asked, do you hate me? I didn't answer immediately, because the truth was complicated. I don't hate you, I said finally. I just can't be your safety net anymore. She nodded, like she already knew that sentence was coming. Then she said something I didn't expect. They're doing it to someone else now. That was the twist. Not remorse, pattern continuation. Apparently, my parents had already started telling extended relatives that I was financially unstable and that Emily's wedding was paused due to my emotional behavior. They were rewriting reality again, just without me in it this time. And that's when I understood something final. This was never about the wedding. It was about control. And the moment I stopped being controllable, they needed a new version of me to blame.